guys, this is your girl back again with another video. So listen, today is all about self-care management, okay? And everybody's self-care looks different. And I'm not just talking about pampering yourself when it comes down to getting your hair done, haircut, knit. That's just self-care management when it comes down to the physical body. But what I want to speak about is the spiritual body, your spiritual self, and how to nurture your spirit. And I feel like that's what God is calling a lot of you guys to do after you've been through hell and back. Because where you're going next, I feel like you're being prepared for a new beginning. If you've been seeing angel number 111, that represents new beginnings, but it also represents your intuition. And intuitively, you may feel this new beginning already, even though you may not be physically living this thing out right now. And you're being called to the forefront. But God knows on a physical level that you can handle this, and he just wants to make sure that you're spiritually well enough to receive this, and not only receive it but maintain it. Because it's one thing to get something that you always wanted, but it's just like, do I have what it takes to continue to carry out something that I prayed for or something that I manifested? And I was talking to a person today, and we were speaking about marriage. Actually, marriage came up twice today, and that could be where you guys are being called. You're being called into a spiritual union, right? And we have to spiritually align ourselves with the things that God has for us, whether that's with jobs, our spouses, or whatever the case may be. But you guys are being spiritually aligned with things that God called for you, not the things that we've called for ourselves. So once again, we were talking about marriage, and she was telling me that I don't know if this is something that I'm supposed to be doing. And the first thing that it just literally just came to my mind is like, well, did you pray about it? And it's like, I feel like because we're all out here just winging it and living life and not really considering how prayer can shape us and mold us, we typically jump into things that may not necessarily be for us, but it's the fear of missing that window. We like to tell ourselves, I'm gonna run out of time if I don't go ahead and do this. So I told her, I said, well, I can't give you an answer on that, because I don't know if God is calling me to the forefront when it comes, for marriage or not. I know he called me to my celibacy journey, and that's the journey that I've been embracing, my celibacy journey, and purifying myself and cleansing myself and trying to get myself in alignment with what he's calling me to do. That's the journey that I'm on. So I'm embracing my singlehood right now, and how I knew that I was being called to celibacy and my single journey, because I was in a long-term situation, but I struggled with finding my spiritual self. So I didn't start to literally find really just get grounded comfortably into my spirituality and my singleness until I got by myself. And then of course I was operating out of flesh for a while, and I still did things, but I started to crave it lesser and lesser. And I'm just like, why? I may feel like that aroused energy, right? But it's like when I get it, I felt nothing. And I said, this is just not something that fulfills me anymore. So I started to embrace my celibacy journey, and it's been good. It's been good, or whatever the case may be. And I knew that I was being called to singlehood because I wasn't being presented with any options. And I feel like a lot of the times, and I thank God for not presenting me with many options, because a lot of the times that's when we feel like we got to pick because the options are available, right? But I was not presented with any options, and for a while I'm like, why am I by myself? And it's like, that's because that's where you're supposed to be right now. So here I am. Okay, so I same thing with marriage. I feel like a lot of you guys are being called to marriage, and I asked her, well, did you pray about this whole marriage thing, or whatever the case may be? Which she went ahead and she went through with it, but she's not, her marriage is not fulfilling her soul. And I'm not the one to tell anybody to leave a situation nor stay, because I feel like, just like you made the executive decision to take this person's hand in marriage, or whatever the case may be, you have to also be the one to make that executive decision to untie the knot. And before you make that decision, self-care first, because sometimes you can go through a rough patch, and just because things are not going well at this present time with your spouse, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to separate. That may not be what God is getting you guys' attention on at the time. There could be some things that you're needing to learn about yourself, or more about your person, and it could be a communication barrier. How do we learn how to communicate? It's just different for everybody. But I just told her, it's like I'm telling my people out here that are single right now, you're being called to something at this time, but self-care is important first, so that you can be ready for the next phase. So I feel like I'm talking to people that are transitioning out of the single phase and into the marriage realm. And I'm talking to people also that are being encouraged to self-care and cleanse their energy, because they may be transitioning out of the marriage realm and getting ready to go into the celibacy realm, or the single part, or whatever the case may be. But either way, it doesn't matter which part you're transitioning from. Self-care is important first, so that you can hear what you're being called to do. Because like I said, if you're somebody that is married at this time and you're not feeling fulfilled on a soul level, release some things at this time to figure out if a divorce is something that God is calling you to do. Because that may not be your answer. This could just be a rough spot, a rough patch, whatever the case may be. And I just wanted to talk about that. That was something that I felt called to talk about. Like I said, the marriage conversation has been coming up like crazy for me the last couple weeks, actually. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. But anyway, let me know how you guys feel about this video in the comments. I love you guys, okay? And until next time, I'll talk to you later.